Well, hello, everybody. My name is Marla Mac. I am absolutely peachy happy to be here today. This is my very first Facebook Live, and goodness, I don't remember the last time I did a live webinar, so this is absolutely exciting. I'm very used to recording my videos and uploading them later. So I will be sharing my screen. I'll be going through the presentation. Cindy, I invite you to jump in if there are some relevant comments that need to be addressed, because otherwise I might just keep on going. I do have time at the end for questions, but I'm happy to pause every so often to be able to address any questions that that everybody may have. And as well, I have a little bit of audience participation in this presentation.
Wonderful. We're ready.
Excellent. All right. Here we go. So just let me know, are you getting paid for your genius and some light bulbs?
Yes, that is what we see.
Awesome, awesome. Great. Well, thank you, everybody, and welcome to today's Quantum Alignment Show. Are you getting paid for your genius? This is about merging soul satisfaction with income success. Let me see. There we go. That'll work. So who is this presentation actually for? So welcome all of you. This is definitely going to pique your interest if you are what I love to call an entrepreneurial soul. So that means you're either currently an entrepreneur or in a business. You could also be a freelancer, self-employed, or in a side hustle, or you are aspiring to one of those things. Career changers as well will be quite interested to actually be on this presentation and tune in. And as well, welcome to those who are exploring their options, right? Because that is also going to be a great place to be, and to tune into this. You'll be getting some value out of this. Okay. So let me start by asking you, are you being called to do more meaningful and satisfying work? Maybe you are seeking for something, but you're not quite finding it. You can't really put your finger on it. Are you jumping between opportunities and not actually finding the right fit and probably getting frustrated or disappointed about that? Are you looking for clarity on your natural gifts and talents? And here's a big one. Are you trading your soul for uninspiring work that just pays the bills? So that was where I was earlier in this process, and I'm thrilled to be sharing with you what I've learned. So let me tell you very quickly about myself. My name is Marla Mac. I am a human design specialist. I am trained in traditional human design, and I'm also learning quantum human design, which is gorgeous language and evolution by Karen Curry Parker. My background is in corporate marketing and communications. I did the old, go to school, get a good job, get good grades, and jump into the corporate world. And I did that for a couple of decades. And I also have training as a money coach and spent some time in financial services. So I'm really huge about the money piece, because I do believe very strongly that a healthy relationship with money can really increase your quality of everything in your life. The one thing I really wanted to talk about, though, is the last few years, which really led me to today, is while I was working in the corporate world, I trained as a money coach. I was trying to actually fix my own money issues. I was good at earning it, but I really wasn't good at keeping it. And the more I earned, the more debt I had. So it took a number of years to really find the right information, do the right research, being able to separate what is actual genuinely helpful information and what is just, kind of just tips and tricks and just really kind of fluff. Let's just call it what it is. And I found some really great mentors, but it took so much trial and error to figure it out. And it took about 7 years for me to really completely revolutionize my money, my relationship with money. And it turned my life around. However, by doing all that trial and error, it helped me really shortcut the process for other people. But what happened was when I left the corporate world, I was going to become a money coach full time. And I was introduced to an opportunity to become a mortgage agent. And they said, well, this is a great value add with your money coaching, because you'll be great. You've got both and it'll really help you stand out. So that's what I did is I got my mortgage license. And eventually I just really focused on the mortgages. It was just easier to explain that I was a mortgage agent to somebody. People didn't always understand money coaching, but they did understand mortgages. However, what I realized is looking back, what had happened over time is the discovery that mortgages was not in my zone of genius at all. And I was spread too thin. I loved serving clients. I loved the education part, but the back end underwriting part really wasn't my forte. And anyway, so long story short was by year 3, everything started imploding spectacularly in my business. And I was the kind of person that was like, I can figure this out. I just have to figure it out. I have to push harder. I have to work harder. I'll just push through this and it'll be fine. And it didn't turn around, and it led me down a really big spiral. And looking back, I would have to guess that even though I had a smile, on my face and I showed up at networking events, I was really dying inside. I mean, here I wanted to help people and I wanted to educate them about money and take care of them. And I just felt like I was breaking. And so I got to a point where, I find like sometimes when you get to your lowest point, that's really when you're ripe for a breakthrough. So if you're feeling low right now, I want to give you a whole lot of love and encouragement, because I want to show you how, when you're at your lowest point, you can turn things around. So when I was at my lowest point, I just surrendered and looked at the universe and said, look, I don't know. Please help me, guide me on this. And these were the 3 questions I asked. What are my true gifts? What is the best and highest version of myself? And what am I really here to do? Because there's nothing to me that was more painful than knowing I had a purpose and I was here to do some really important, meaningful work. And I was right in the middle of something that was breaking me. So what I did was I just kept on asking those questions over and over again. And the beauty is the universe answered. And it led me to human design. So I'm very excited to share with you a little bit of how you can discover your genius using human design. So before I get rolling on that, I wanted to stop and ask you, what does genius mean to you? Could you please put that in the chat? And Cindy, I would love it if you can share with me what some of the comments are, because I can't see all of the comments. What does genius mean to you?
Go ahead and extraordinary insights.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, wow. Now it's going. Your best gifts, high level functioning with little effort, someone beyond smart, being in the zone, wide open possibilities, my divine gifts, something that you are really good at doing.
Mm-hmm.
What am I good at? Your unique creative expression, unique insights. Genius is channeling your highest and most joyful self and gifts. My gifts naturally enjoy with serving, doing great things effortlessly. Best work, biggest contribution. Brilliant, spot on.
Lovely. Those are great. I love that. I'm so glad. I want to review those later. So let me start by saying what the way that I approach the meaning of genius and your genius. Your genius is your natural gifts, talents, passions, skills, strengths, abilities, aptitudes, your awesomeness, and your power all rolled into one. Your genius is what you naturally shine at, what you are great at, what prompts you to want to learn and grow, and what you enjoy the most. And what makes you unique makes you a genius. And I want to really emphasize to everybody in this presentation, who's here live and who watches the recording, you all have a genius. You all have something very magical and unique and genius for, within you and inside of you. And some of you may be very clear on that, and some of you may still be really trying to get in touch with it. So who you are at the core of your being makes you unique, and it really is the source of your genius, your passion, and your life's work. Following your genius is, in my opinion, the most aligned path to business and career success. And, if you're not clear on what your genius is, that can really interrupt your ability to find your wealth path. And so my mission is to help you get clear on your genius and get paid for it. So what I would love to know is, for yourself, do you know what your genius is? How would you put that into words? So once again, can you please just post that in the chat? And Cindy, thank you again. If you can share that with me, that would be great.
Artfulness, synthesis and building bridges between ideas and people, joy. I am a teacher. Don't know, trying to find out.
Yeah.
Empowering and inspiring. Kelly says, I have no idea.
Okay.
Mentor. Leading others through transformation. Trying to, still waiting for more of that to come into me. What comes out in flow, in response, the way I love, helping people and loving people. Exceptional memory and a great listener.
So thank you. Go. Any
couple more.
Okay. Yeah.
Anything we do with ease and grace, exploring the meaning of life at all levels, and being with others as they do the same, working with nature and people for a better world, assisting those seeking comfort in their afflictions, and owning my manifesting generator abilities.
Hey, awesome. So thank you for that. So thank you very much for sharing. And I'm actually really glad that the comments that came back here in the presentation weren't, I don't have a genius, or I'm not a genius, because everybody has a genius. And that's really, if there's one takeaway today, you have a genius. That's it. You may be still trying to identify it, but you have it. And the interesting thing is, I find that other people can see our genius before we can. So when I'm talking about your genius, this is how I like to really explain it. Your genius shows you how you are uniquely designed to be successful. It stops you from wasting your time on your weaknesses. Let's be frank. If you spend all your time trying to, work on your weaknesses, all you're going to have is a set of strong weaknesses. It's not worth the time and the energy, and it really is exhausting to be working on your weaknesses because they're not in your genius. So your genius reinforces that you are not broken and you do not need to be fixed. Now, if there is one aha that I took away from discovering my human design, was exactly that. I was so busy trying to become something I wasn't, because I thought that was going to make me more successful, or that was going to, get me unstuck in my previous career. But then I realized all I was doing was I was focusing in an area that was not my genius. And I also want to let you know that there is no gap. You have nothing missing. So, if you're trying to sort of fill this void or fill this gap with more knowledge or more information, or, training is good to expand your potential, but just make sure that you're training within your genius, right? Or you're learning about yourself to really understand how to truly expand that. If the training makes you feel better, then awesome, right? That's the right direction. But what I found was I was spending all this time on coaching programs and other things that simply were not feeding my genius, and I was simply trying to be something I wasn't. And they really just ended up not working. So your genius also, when you're clear on it, it can simplify your work and your life because you're just much clearer about what to say yes to and what to say no to. And you can say no confidently. If it's not your genius, right? I like to also say it helps you discover unconditional love. Now, that was one of the side effects and one of the benefits when I really discovered about my uniqueness and, what made me who I was and what my gifts were. I realized, once again, not broken, don't need to be fixed. Wow. It's amazing. And it's really a unique experience to be able to share that. So why does your genius actually matter? And your genius is directly tied to who you are at your soul level. It's all connected. What's your awesomeness, your natural gifts and talents, what makes your heart sing, and your talents and gifts, those are all connected with your soul. And your genius is an expression of your true self. And it's an opportunity to really own your greatness when you can, really be clear on and leverage your genius. And it leads to more soul satisfying and enjoyable work because it feels good to be in your genius and using your talents. And it moves you from chasing results to attracting opportunities. And this was a big thing that I discovered when I, embraced my human design, was that prior to that, when I was really trying to make this opportunity that was not a good fit for me, I was trying to make it work. I was chasing results. And that's the kind of energy that people sense. You think you might be able to try and hide it, but people pick up on that energy. And it feels off when you're trying to chase results. And sometimes it can make you feel a bit more desperate if you're not actually getting those results. And it, as I said, earlier about it makes business and career decisions earlier. You know what to say yes to and what to say no to. And as I mentioned earlier, others recognize you and are attracted to you when you're in your genius. Other people see your genius sometimes before you do. And so when you're in your genius, there's a very strong alignment there and people feel that. And personally, now I am convinced that if more people lived in their genius, it would truly change the world. So leveraging your genius honors you and it helps you stand in your value better. So here's what I like to demonstrate. This is my little, I'll call it my genius pyramid. So I did a version for business or self-employed and, if you're in a career. And so if you're taking a look at this from the business side, right, you've got your business model, your business structure, you've got your plans, your business plans, you've got your offerings in the next level, which is your products and your services. You have your team. If you have a team working for you, your human resources, they're also part of this. Your marketing, so how you're actually going to get the word out about your products and services. And likewise with your career, sort of a similar build. You have your responsibilities, you have your title or position, which may or may not actually sometimes connect to your responsibilities. You have your industry. Where are you in, right? Maybe you have some skill set that belongs to expertise in a specific industry. And your colleagues, being your team members, they're going to complement your responsibilities and, be able to, whether they're doing similar work to you because there's a need to spread that among many people, or maybe they are a full complement to you. You're, let's say, doing the finance and they're doing the customer service. That could be an example of the complements. But to me, they all matter when you use your genius as a foundation. And so you start with your genius. So let's just take the business side again. So your genius, when you start with your genius and you're very clear on that, Then you can be much more specific about a business model that honors your genius and that serves you and your energy needs. You can design products and services that better fit with how your genius works. You know, you're hiring team members who have their own genius in areas that you do not. So you're able to complement each other really well. Your marketing is going to be an expression of your genius. And on the career side as well, you know, your genius starts by basically helping you wrap your head around the responsibilities. Because my experience has been, for many jobs that I've had, my genius maybe was only like 10 or 20% of my responsibilities. And, you know, the other 80, 90% sometimes were things that were outside of my genius. And it just left me very exhausted, unmotivated. But, you know, you go through the motions because you're getting paid, right? That's what happens. But it's a way to quick burnout. It really, you know, not using your genius as a foundation is really going to impact everything else in your business and everything else in your career. So when you're not operating in your genius, you could be burned out or on your way to burnout. You know, you can feel angry, frustrated, bitter, disappointed. You may feel like you don't belong. You may feel like you're stuck or struggling, or you just might be bored, unmotivated, numb, right? You're almost in energy conservation mode because you only have so much. And, you know, I like to sometimes say that if you're experiencing any of these symptoms, that chances are you're climbing someone else's success ladder and not your own. So you want to make sure it is your own. Cindy, I'm going to pause briefly here. Are there any questions or comments that need to be addressed?
Well, there's been lots of people that have been agreeing with you. Jackie just made a really nice comment. It makes so much more sense this way, starting with your genius as you build a business. It's like you're typically start in a more mixed up way.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And it also depends who your mentors are. And, you know, I love mentors. I have some amazing mentors. So I am a huge proponent for mentors. But as I'm going to show you, for those who are familiar with human design, and if you're not, I will jump into it briefly. For example, if you are a projector and your mentor doesn't understand human design, doesn't understand energy, and they are a manifesting generator, you know, and they have an expectation that, or they have this picture in their mind that success looks like what they do. So they're just like, model me and you'll be successful. That doesn't necessarily work. And like I said, for those who understand human design at a deeper level, you can see that connection right away. For those you don't, no problem. I'll be able to walk through a little bit here. And I also have an opportunity at the end if you want to learn more about your design and how to be able to really get clear on your genius through your human design. But thank you, Cindy. Am I good to go? Am I good to keep going?
Yes, you're
Excellent.
good to go. We did have a couple projectors already.
Oh, there we go. Hello, recognizing the projectors. Thank you. Okay, so if you're not in your genius, this is what it feels like. And I can attest to that firsthand. This is exactly how I spent my last year in my mortgage business before I like to say before human design found me. This is exactly how it felt like. And once I was able to let that go, I was like, right? Huge, huge, huge relief. So in case you're wondering what this is, square peg, round hole. I have to say, not in my genius is like highly talented art. So, but this is square peg, round hole. And, you know, I would love to just say yes in the chat. If you've ever felt that way when you've, you know, either in your business or your career, you know, or job, side hustle, anything, square peg, round hole. And the way I put it is we are a world full of frustrated, burned out square pegs and round holes. Any yeses, Cindy?
Quite a few yeses,
Yes,
both on
exactly.
Facebook and
Yes.
LinkedIn. We did have some people that said seldom. Yay, them.
Hey, yay. Yes. But like I said, if more of us are in our genius, right? There's we can have more people saying, "No, seldom," right? That's and awesome. And here's my word for you. If that's where you are, you're in your genius and you're seldom feeling, frustrated, angry, and you're feeling in your flow and you're feeling good and happy, please model that for others. Please share that with others. Others need to know that that way not only exists, but it's a better way. Sometimes we're just very used to denying ourselves that because we don't have an opportunity to see what's on the other side. So please, by all means, you are invited to share that and model that for others. Thank you. So a recent Gallup poll stipulated that only 15, and when I say 15, I say 15%, not 50, 15%, 15% of the world's 1 billion full-time workers are engaged at work. So I like to put this another way. 85% are dissatisfied with the work that they do. And so that means 850 million people. So imagine the energy, the frustrated, sort of angry, disappointed energy that comes from that. And that's kind of my mission. Let's turn that around. So consider the wasted time, right? The wasted energy, the frustration, and all the domino effects that happen from that. So for those just sort of within human design, we're really embracing the fact that we're moving towards a massive shift in the collective. It's already started and it's continuing for the next several years. The nature of work will change and is changing. In fact, if the last year is any indication, there have been massive shifts in the work world. Everything is shifting very rapidly. It may feel very unsettling, and I completely understand. Please remember, this is part of a bigger evolution. And that's kind of my message to you. So just be kind to yourself. This is really part of a bigger evolution. And in the words, Karen has mentioned this, I'm paraphrasing, but Karen Curry Parker just has some wonderful videos on Facebook page about sort of that evolution in the work world and the business world. In businesses that focus on expanding well-being for others will serve on the leading edge of a new economy and reap the benefits. So if you're focusing as a business or within your work on expanding the well-being of others, you will serve on the leading edge of this new economy that includes caring and nurturing. And not only for your clients, but your staff, right? Your team members, your larger community. All of this has a wonderful ripple effect. This is my favorite quote. Everybody is a genius, but if you judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life believing that it is stupid. Folks, you're beautiful fishes. You're meant to swim in the sea. You're not meant to climb a tree. Or maybe, you're a monkey and you are meant to climb a tree, but you're not meant to be in the deep ocean. Those are different examples of genius. And this is something that, to me, Albert Einstein's quote is, and he was, if I'm not mistaken, he was like open or undefined head and ajna, which I thought was absolutely marvelous to discover. But truly, if you do judge a fish on something that is simply not possible for it, it is obvious that you'd say, well, it is obvious, but that's the challenge, is sometimes we're made to be put in a box that simply doesn't fit us. And that's where really connecting with your genius and being clear on your genius is important. So I'm using my own design as the guinea pig here. So for those who have never seen a human design chart before, I would like to encourage you to get your chart. You can jot this link down, and Cindy, if you'd be so gracious to put it in the chat. It is http://hdchart.com. HD stands for human design. I just want to be clear, do not put HTTPS. That will not get you to the right page, but HTTP / htchart.com. That will redirect you to being able to get your chart on Genetic Matrix for free. If you do have your chart, that's great. You can refer to it. Now, what I really like to do is actually call the human design chart your unique success blueprint, because that's what it really means for me. Is everybody has a unique success blueprint. And I'm using myself as a guinea pig. And this is what I like to call my genius map from my unique success blueprint. Now, there's so much in a human design chart and in your chart that it is incredible. It is so rich with information. But if you're new to human design, I like to just point out a couple of quick things about the chart here. So for example, I am a 1-3 profile. Now, in traditional human design, it's called an investigative martyr. In quantum human design, it is a resource explorer. My magic, my MO is researching and investigating. And after doing that research and investigating, I go back and I test, I experiment, I tinker, I play with it. Does this work? Does this not work? Oh, this feels good. Oh, this doesn't feel good. And I go back and forth, right? That's kind of how I work. Other profiles have different ways of working. You know, in my 1-3, I like to say I get feedback through action. So if I have to sit there and kind of think about whether or not something's going to work, I really get stuck. And I like to, instead of think it through, I like to action it through. I'm like, you know what? I'm just going to jump in and do it. And as I do it, it's almost like this sensory feeling of like, oh, that doesn't feel good. Nope, that doesn't feel right. Oh, that feels good. So that's kind of my, magic as a 1-3. My type, as I go down here, I don't know if you see my mouse, but I'm on the left side of my chart here, type manifesting generator. I am a time bender in the quantum human design language. I am here to do work that energizes me. Like, it's just, ooh. And now I do like to rest, and it is, every type needs to rest at some point, but it just juices me up to do exciting work. This is kind of what gets me going. I am designed to juggle many projects at once. And sometimes as I'm waiting for something, something else comes up, right? So back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. That is my natural tendency. So if somebody were to say, you know what, Marla, you just have to pick one thing and stick with it, that is actually not correct for me. But I know that because I know my genius. Finding shortcuts and efficiencies. And that really works very well with my 3 in my profile. I go through it. I'm like, oh, you know what? There's a better way to do that, I'm sure. And then next thing you know, the next time I do it, it's faster and it's faster. And I've got shortcuts and I've got little tips and tricks. And next thing you know, I've mastered it and I've become very efficient at something. My centers. So sometimes we talk about human design and white centers, which are what we call open centers or undefined centers. We talk about those as, oftentimes being like, some people like to think of them or tend to think of them as a detriment, right? Defined is better and open is not. And that's not true at all. There are tremendous number of gifts in open centers, just as there are tremendous number of gifts in defined centers. So, every time I open a human design chart and I see somebody's chart, I go, ooh, because it's like Christmas. It's like, wow, there's so much power in this chart. So for me, I have what's called an open head. I have no gates. I have no little red or black little lines off of this top triangle, pardon me, my open head. I am receptive to unlimited thoughts, ideas, and inspiration. And let me tell you, the ideas and thoughts and the things running through my mind are unlimited, truly. And my undefined ajna, over here, the green one, the one that's sort of lined in green with the one gate here, the 24, it's undefined. I can analyze a situation in so many different ways. It's like, imagine a soccer ball and you're looking at it and you've got all the different shapes and facets, right? I can take a look at that. And I actually had a friend who, before even human design, she said, Marla, I am just so amazed that you can see you can hear 2 people arguing about different sides and completely see both of their points of view and completely be open and understand why, they're correct and why they're correct. It's not about taking sides. There's just so many different, there's so much dimension to things. And the last one I'm going to mention really quickly is here, for example, I have the defined solar plexus. And there is something called authorities, decision-making authorities in human design. Mine is the emotional solar plexus. I need time to make decisions. But the amount of clarity and peace I get with taking that time is beautiful. And what I realized is that rushing a decision is really something that, A, it doesn't serve me, but B, it gives me so much peace knowing that when I say yes to something, it truly is correct for me, and it's something I can lend my attention to. So those are just a couple of nuggets in the richness of a human design chart and how it reveals your genius. So we are all geniuses, right? We are all unique. Imagine if the world had one kind of animal. That would be a little crazy. But just like there isn't one kind of animal, there isn't just one kind of person or one path to success. In fact, if anything, that's kind of my message for you is there is so much information out there on how to be successful, but there is not enough information on how we are uniquely designed to be successful. And to me, that's the key. And that's the sort of something that I want to introduce is have people really understand how they are designed to be successful, how you are designed to be successful, which is not going to be the same as the person next to you. So these are charts for 5 different people. And this is to show you that we are designed perfectly for who we are here to be and what we are here to do. And who are these people, right? So we have a manifestor, a generator, a manifesting generator, a projector, a reflector with different profiles, right? The numbers are profiles 6-2, 2-4, 2-5, 5-1, 2-4. And all of these people have their own genius in their own ways. So I'd really love for you to take a quick moment and take a look at the differences in, where are black lines, where are red lines, where things are colored in, where things are not. It's okay if you don't understand human design. Just trying to show you that success doesn't come in one package, right? So everybody is uniquely designed to be successful. It's all about tapping into what that uniqueness is and being able to recognize it and embrace it.
Marla, while you're on this slide, there was a
Yes.
question earlier from Cam. I'm a reflector. Can you tell me about this 1% of shiny unicorns? No, that was my added part.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, yes, I have. In fact, I had a little unicorn emblem I was going to feed into the presentation at some point. Yes, you are a magical unicorn. Was it Cam you said, Cindy? Was the name Cam?
Yes.
Oh, excellent. Cam, welcome. Thank you very much. Thank you for being the magical unicorn. Yes, and we do know some reflectors. So now I'm going to say this for every design, there's tremendous beauty, but wow, as a reflector, you're such a unique gift. You are here to really take just feel the health of the community, feel the health of the people around you. There's always wisdom in your design, and there's always things to pay attention to as well to really be able to nurture and honor your genius and make sure that your energy is, you don't burn out or you don't overextend yourself. So because you are so open, so for those who don't know, so the reflector, just take a look at the Sandra Bullock design. That is an example of a reflector's chart. All of the centers are open. And there's this incredible opportunity to be able to take in the energy and the health and the pulse of the community and really be able to, give that feedback. However, you also just want to make sure that you're not over amplifying or taking in other people's energies as your own, and then finding yourself that you're burning yourself out. But your beauty is in your wisdom, because you can just sense and just feel things. And, people might be like, how do you know that? Well, you just know, because that is your design. That is your openness. But you also have a bit of a resistant and sampling aura. So in your healthy state, you're able to sample and sort of almost taste and feel kind of that environment, whether it's healthy or not, and give back the reflection and put it into words, what you're seeing and feeling. But you also are, in a healthy state, you're mindful about not taking all that in like a big sponge and, hanging on to it. Does that help?
Well, I thought it was good.
Okay, that sounds good. Great. So this is kind of where I'm leading to, is really, this is what it looks like when you're not clear on your genius and you're really trying to make a decision about what your next steps are, whether it's in your business, whether it's in freelance opportunity or whether it's in your career or making a career decision. It can really be overwhelming, particularly if you're not clear on your genius, and so you default to listening to people outside of yourself. Now, people outside of yourself are very well-meaning. There's a lot of great advice out there. Just keep in mind that advice may not always be great for you. And so that's where getting clear on your genius is really sort of the magic key to being able to unlock the right door for you and knowing which direction to go in. So I wanted to let you know that I'm running a program that may be of interest if you're looking to either get in touch with your genius, or maybe you just want some clarity. Maybe you kind of already have an idea, but you really want to just refine it. So I am running a group in tandem with a lovely woman, a lovely coach named Natalie, which I'll introduce on the next slide. And so the program is called Discover Your Sacred Genius. It is a group program that will be hosted on Zoom. It is a collaboration between Natalie and me, and we're both bringing our own genius to this. And this is what's so magical about it. We connected a handful of months ago and we talked about something, but it wasn't the right timing. And now it is. And so Natalie is, she is a Discover Your Sacred Gifts certified guide. And there are 24 sacred gifts. This is an example of a few of them: compassion, healing, teaching, leadership, facilitation, spiritual sensitivity. So those are just snippets, but there is a very specific process that Natalie will walk you through in order to actually connect with which ones of the gifts, the sacred gifts, are yours. And it gives you so much clarity after that, because then okay, something either is in my bucket or it's not. And like I said, it's easier to say yes and easier to say no to things. And I'm bringing to the table my program, which is called Discover Your Genius. So I want to kind of talk about the irony. Hers is Discover Your Sacred Gifts. Mine was originally called Discover Your Genius. We're coming together, and that's where the title came from, Discover Your Sacred Genius. So it's smushed between the two. I'm bringing traditional and quantum human design to the table. I am going to go through the participants, each one of your energy types, your aura, how it works, your strategy, your signature, your lines, your profile, your centers, your incarnation cross. That's your life purpose theme in there. We're going to talk about that, and how these shape your genius in your business or career. And so I'd love to introduce Natalie here on the slide. Natalie is a 6-2 time bender, a manifesting generator. I am a 1-3 manifesting generator. So I will say there's going to be a lot of energy on the call because we definitely we're both very energetic as it is. And together we just amp each other up because we're so excited and we're so in our flow. And Natalie's sacred gifts are hospitality, encouragement, and facilitation. And my sacred gifts are knowledge and wisdom. So as you can see, we're bringing two completely different sets of gifts to the table here and coming together for this collaboration. So the Discover Your Sacred Genius group program is 8 weekly Zoom sessions. We're hosting them live. and we're going to be recording them. So if you have to miss a session, you have the replay accessible. There's also work materials to do in between the sessions. There will be a private Facebook group for participants. And there's also, for people who sign up prior to mid-December, because this is starting in January, it's starting on January 5th, 2021. That is a Tuesday. Our anticipated time is 6:45 Eastern to start. However, it depends on the group. If everybody is a business owner and they want to start during the day, then we are open to changing the time. So we're going to have a bonus group call around Tuesday, December 15th. We're just confirming that. But for anybody who signs up prior to December 15th, you're welcome to join that call live, and you can ask questions and we can talk a little bit about what's coming up. And I'm also creating a how to read your human design chart bonus course. It's a little course that if you're brand new to human design and you pull your chart and you're like, what are these lines? What are these, geographic, geometric symbols? What is this? What's red? What's black? I don't understand what this means. Because that was the first time that I pulled my chart. That's exactly how I reacted. And I put it aside for a few months. I was like, I don't know what this is. So if that's you, you will really benefit from this bonus course. It is included in this package. It's called How to Read Your Human Design Chart. That will be coming out probably around early December. That will be ready. The URL is if you want to jump online to look at it further after this call, it's yourgenius.net. That's YOUR genius.net/sacred genius. yourgenius.net/sacred genius. That is the page. So thank you. And I'm sure Cindy put it in the notes. I can't see the screen right now. But Cindy, thank you for that. And that is it for my presentation. I'm open for some additional questions and comments. Thank you.
There was a question earlier. Do you know if joy is one of the sacred gifts?
I don't have the full list right in front of me. Now it's not popping, but absolutely joy, or there might be some enthusiasm. There might be some derivative of joy in sacred gifts.
But as you're going with yours,
oh, mine
on your side, not counting.
Oh,
could they find joy as one of the gifts? And what's your part, the part you're teaching? If
yes.
it's not one of the sacred gifts from the sacred gift training, I mean, is there a way to find joy?
To find joy? Well, it also depends on the makeup of the chart. So for example, I mean, it depends how joy is expressed, right? So to me, joy is a little bit deeper. To me, it really connects to who you are and bringing that out and sort of being more aligned. There's just a lot of joy naturally that emerges from that. I also have gate 16 enthusiasm, which I always connect, to sort of the expression of joy and happiness and, excitement and that kind of thing. To me, though, I believe that it's different for different people. So that will be one thing that definitely we can explore. But, I mean, the power of joy bringing into a room, it's much more powerful to come in with a positive, joy being very high on sort of that positivity scale, to bring that into a room, because it's much easier to uplift other people with that joy. And so that to me is a hugely powerful gift. And if that's part of your genius, embrace it, go for it. I can attest to how incredibly infectious joy is when somebody comes into the room and is just, big smiles, bubbly, and that. So I would absolutely put that in as a genius and as a gift.
Okay, we had a couple people, like when we talked about the reflector, but Anne on Facebook asked, can you give an example of someone's genius? For example, I'm a 4/6 generator.
Okay. So unfortunately, I don't have your chart in front of me, but I can definitely talk about the 4/6. It also depends at what stage of life you're at, simply because the 6 line profile is a 3-stage profile. You start up to approximately age 29, give or take, in your experimentation phase as a line 3. Trying different things, sticking your fingers in different pots to kind of see how they feel and play around. And then from around 29, 30 until about approaching 50, you're in phase 2, which is what they call the roof phase. So you kind of pull back a bit. And this is where you're really sort of absorbing your knowledge and your wisdom that you end up really sharing and really, embracing in a big way when you come off the roof right around, I'd say around 49, 50, which is then the third phase. So you come out as the role model, because the 6 is the role model in traditional human design. And you're 4, but that's the unconscious side. So you may not have always been fully aware that that's the process you're going through. And as a 4 line, I mean, your magic is in your networks, your relationships, your connections. That, in fact, from a business perspective, you're really great at your relationships, building relationships, having those friends, having that community, and them supporting you in that. So many of your opportunities would come from that circle of relationships, friends, good colleagues, and that would recognize that. That's just your natural connectivity.
From Cam again. As a reflector, taking negativity, energy from people and looking after family and friends and patients as I'm a nurse, then 100%. I'm in a state of depression now. I put my more than 100% as I'm helping them healing. What would you explain, or is there something that you could tell Cam?
Absolutely. So Cam, first of all, my heart goes out to you, because I can only imagine what a challenging time this is. And especially, and the amount that you're carrying with you right now. So please, like, blessings to you for the work that you do. I can appreciate, as a reflector, and having that kind of openness and really putting yourself all out in the healing and the feeling. And you would definitely be able to feel, as a reflector. Obviously, when we talk about the health, you're literally feeling the health of the people around you. My best advice for you to really preserve your energy and your sanity is, you want to, Karen's words say it best: be a screen, not a sponge. And I know that's probably a challenge given what you're surrounded by. But what's very important for you as a reflector is your environment. So if your environment is not healthy for you, that's going to put a huge load on you. So your caring and your compassion is there, and you want to give. But if what's coming back at you now is kind of this really heavy load, if you're having challenges with being able to put, I'll call it like your almost like boundaries, really, that's kind of what we're talking about, healthy boundaries around that. There's a tendency for you to really be a sponge and soak that all up. And it really, you could put you in a position of burnout. And so I would say, absolutely take care of yourself. Take care of yourself and nurture yourself. And if you're in a situation where you can't control that right now, because that's how you're getting paid and that's the work that you're doing, you want to at least put those boundaries in. And you also want to get some time alone. You want to get some time alone to be able to step back and just decompress, so you can, let that energy dissipate, so you can come back to center and come back balanced.
And hug a tree.
And hug a tree. Oh my gosh, hug 10 trees. I think, yes, I think that's something I should be doing as well.
It's my answer to everything,
and take, yeah, that's it. So when you're out alone, taking a walk in nature, great way. I mean, Cindy, you'd probably agree with that. Like, that would just be a great way to get grounded again and sort of, basically recalibrate, because you're called a calibrator in quantum human design. Did I get that right, Cindy? The
Yes.
Reflector is a calibrator? Yes. So remember, that's what you're doing. You're calibrating, you're kind of measuring, and you're, everything around you. So you want to have an opportunity to recalibrate yourself and reset yourself. So alone time, quiet time, time in nature, those are great opportunities to be able to reset and, basically re-energize those boundaries again. So I hope that helps.
So I'm going to combine a couple of questions so that
Okay, sure.
people can, because we had Katie, could you explain the projector? And Colette says 1-5 projector insights on my design. And Lori says, I'm a 6-2 projector. Can I invent myself at age 63? I left my profession of 40 years.
Wow.
And the last one that goes along with can I invent myself at 63? Linda, I think it's Linda, says, yes, Linda says, I'm now 70 years old. Is it worth exploring what human design can do for me, or has time run out?
No. Here's my question. Are you still breathing? If the answer is yes, it's not too late. If you're breathing, you're living, and you've got a genius that's just screaming to get out. So never too late. Never too late.
And can we go into geniuses for the projectors? We have
geniuses for the projectors. Well, the projectors are designed to guide. The projectors have a very sort of focused and penetrating aura. You can really see other people, like really see them. And the expression forest for the trees? Well, that's other people, right? Especially generator types. Generator types like myself, I'm a generator type. I'm sort of here to kind of get to know myself and like, ooh, how do I work? What does this lever do? What does that lever do? Right. So that's kind of, design. But as a projector, you're just so wise at being able to see other people and guide other people. The challenge as a projector is you have so much wisdom in being able to see and guide. But if other people are not ready to hear that and hear your sage advice, well, that could leave you feeling unheard, ignored, so, and that can really take a toll on your energy. So there are also ways, talk a little bit more in the Discover Your Sacred Genius about how to be recognized, because when you're recognized, you're heard. And when you're heard, that's when people really can embrace your advice, your guidance, what you can see. And another element of the genius of projectors is you're really good with systems. If you find a system really juices you up to learn. So there are a number of projectors who study human design, for example, because that is a system. Right. There's elements to it. And so that tends to attract a number of projectors. But it doesn't just have to be human design. I know mental projectors who are, lean certified, right? Or Six Sigma or something. They're all these different systems. And that is a beautiful complement to their genius as projectors. So I hope that helps answer the question.
We're coming up on the top of the hour. And so as I was listening to you, we might not get to all the questions. I'm sorry.
That's okay. That's okay. Magic.
It's like Harry Potter magic. On the geniuses, and yes, oh my gosh, wisdom on the projector. Yes, every type and every profile, I think you said this in your talk, has a genius that's
totally
just waiting to come out once it's how would you put, once you can recognize it within yourself or have someone help you.
Yes.
I mean, I'm sure you have a better way to do it, just that how you started it out. Everyone
does have a genius. And that's the, so for example, a third line may have heard in their lifetime, oh my gosh, you're, why do you keep on testing and poking at stuff and experimenting stuff? Well, that's how they learn. That is their MO. And, so there's different ways, a line 5 being a messenger, being a bit of it's called a heretic, right? So being kind of coming out with some new information that applies to a large group of people, that has a particular angle and a genius. So somebody with a 1-3 profile and somebody with a 2-5 profile, they're going to show up differently. And that's okay, because that's uniquely their process and how they really express and really embody their genius. So every different piece of the human design chart, or somebody's human design, I'll call it their characteristics, right? Their profile, their type, there's and so on, their specific design are pieces of their genius. But I also love the fact that I'm combining this program with Natalie, because once about, back to the soccer ball, it's about looking at your genius and looking at yourself from many different aspects and putting them all together. And then you get this clear picture of what your genius is.
Well, that sounds wonderful. And it's good for any age.
Any age. No, like I said, and no kidding. If you're even thinking or asking yourself, it's worth it. It's worth learning about your genius. It's worth learning about your human design, about your sacred gifts. You might end up having the best time of your life discovering this and then using it and going out there. You're going to have a complete second wind and go out there and, do meaningful work and impact people and impact yourself. So that's how I like it. Oh, there we go. There's my little question slide.
So final comments.
There you go. That's my third line. Sometimes, I drop stuff, things happen. Ta-da! So, and I'm so much easier on myself because I know myself now. I'm like, oh yeah, that's just me. Right. Instead of like, oh my gosh, why did I do that? Why did I, right? Very third line, but it's my process. It's me. It's magical. So.
Well, thank you so much.
Thank you, Cindy. Thank you so much. And thank you everybody for joining in. I'm so glad that you were here today. Thrilled to bits. I do sincerely hope you got some interesting, learnings out of it, some value out of it. And blessings to you all. Thank you.